Ohio Governor John Kasich has a message for the American people. Kasich was the last Republican standing against Donald Trump in the primary race last year.
And in a speech made during that campaign, Kasich outlined what he called two paths for the American people. The speech inspired his new book, Two Paths: America, Divided or United. In it, the governor shares his take on the 2016 campaign and also his views on how to make America move forward.
And we are happy to welcome Governor John Kasich right here to CBSN today. Thanks for joining us, Governor.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So let us talk about these two paths.
Yep.
What are they?
Well, one is where you give people, you say, well, the reason why something's not working for you is somebody else took it, or, everything is terrible and bad, and, and you don't have any responsibility, and the future looks terrible. And by the way, I might just be able to fix everything with the snap of my finger. Right. And then there's another path which says, listen, I understand your problem, and we need to work on it. We need to fix it. And it isn't anybody else's fault. We will work with you. You're not alone. And we'll help you to get on your feet, and we'll help you to have a good life.
Now
and that's a lot better. I mean, here's I think what's important. I went to town halls, and I had this message no matter where I was. Look, we're all made special. So we have our tough things in life, but we can pick ourselves up. And nobody wants anything tough in life, believe me. I don't want any more trials in my life, but they're inevitable. So you have to give people a sense that we'll get through this, and we'll get through it together. Not that you should be living in a silo somewhere where no one cares about you. Yeah. And it resonated across the country. The problem was, I think, first of all, I wasn't very well known, and secondly, which surprised me, and the second thing is, it's kind of boring, isn't it? Well, because you want big headlines to drive viewers, and if I say the world's going to hell, or if I say, you know what, we can fix it.
But that's what I wanted to know, because this comes from the speech that you made, the two-path speech, which, many people said that was the most significant speech of the campaign that you made.
Well, wait a minute, that I made. You mean it was the most significant speech?
Your most significant speech. I'm not gonna comment on the many speeches that were made, but your most significant speech, and you said, you didn't name candidates, but you said there are two paths here, and some candidates are selling you, a story that things are terrible, and you need a candidate who's going to appreciate public service, who's going to encourage you to look up instead of look down.
Right.
So
we're happy.
What path did the American electorate pick then?
Well, I think they picked a bumper sticker. We live in an environment now, and look at your whole broadcast. I mean, people are busy, they look on their phones, and they can follow you. But people want quick fixes. Quick fixes don't fix anything. I mean, you know that as a person trying to have this career in television. Nothing happens overnight. And what people want to know is, can I take a pill? Can I get an app? Can everything be fixed? Well, no. Life doesn't work that way. And so I think in their stress and their troubles and their fears and their anxieties, and by the way, with the receding confidence in a higher power, they just wanted a quick fix. And there is no such thing. In fact, it's dangerous to even tell them that.
Your former adversary, now President Trump, is coming up on 100 days in office. When you look at that 100-day stretch, would you say that the people of Ohio, that the people of America are healthier, wealthier, safer than they were before this election?
He's only been there 100 days, so give it a little bit of time.
What path is he on 100 days in?
Well, on some paths, he showed some strength, some United States strength when he took the action in Syria. But look, a lot of people are going about their lives. But I'll tell you what bothered me. When I see ICE agents at somebody's door, and if somebody, came into the country, maybe they were escaping a drug cartel and brought their kids, and they got here and they've been here 20 years and they never did anything wrong, and we're going to ship them out, I think that's terrible. So I think it's both ways. I don't like the health plan. I hope they can fix it. I talked to look, I had a meeting with the president in the Oval Office and talked about a lot of things, including the health plan and our situation in the world. And I'm willing to. I'm rooting for him. I noticed this: a lot less Twitter, a lot less attacks, and that's progress. But the guy's never held office before. Give him a little bit of time.
There's been a lot of talk, or there was a lot of talk.
By the way, if he does something right, I'll praise him. And if he does something wrong, that in my opinion wrong, I'll speak out. And you know what? They know it. And when I was in the White House, in the Oval Office, I said that, and one of the guys, I said, if you're wrong, I'm going to speak out. And the guy said, well, yeah, we noticed.
When you hand a copy of this book to President Trump, I'd love to know what you're going to write on the inside. Dear President Trump.
Well, I mean, I think the book. This is not just a hit on Trump. Yeah. This is a diagnosis of all the things in our nation that's bothering us and how we pull out of it. We want to focus on Trump. What about United Airlines? Did you guys do that story? Did you hear about that?
We did.
Well, what do you think that was about? And now I see American Airlines, they got the same problem going on. What about EpiPen jacking up their prices for families that have kids that have asthma? What about Wells Fargo opening false accounts for people?
So, Governor, what's at the core of this? Give me that one sentence. What is it about?
Self-absorption and a focus on money above all, okay, or success above all. Look, I'm the farthest thing from a saint, okay? I just know that I have a responsibility to live a life a little bigger than myself. And at the end of my life, people aren't going to be saying, when I die, they may say, okay, well, he was governor. But they're not going to say, they're going to say, here's what he did. He held health care for a lot of poor people. He cared about people. That's what I want him to say, not how much money, what was his title. Nobody cares about that. And so we get lost. We get lost. You have a danger in this, being on this, with these lights shining on you. The one thing you want is you want those lights to keep shining on you. But, sometimes you just got to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that story.
Well, speaking of the lights still shining,
sometimes, don't you want to stand up sometimes and just say no?
Of course, there are definitely times that you wonder about the story choices and stuff. But I know I'm not talking about the story choices. I'm talking about as we go through life, we get to those forks in the road where we either say, I'm sorry, I'm willing to risk a little something and stand up for principle, or, I'll just cave. And I think we need to stand up a little bit more and care for one another, not treat each other as widgets or objects. Let me ask you, you said on Face the Nation that you thought that political parties were on the way out. Is this part of the reason?
Oh, the parties, people are like, you think any young people are like, man, I want to go to the young Democrat meeting, or I want to go to the young Republican meeting. They're saying they're independent and they're kind of sick of politics.
When you see President Trump in office and you think back to your campaign, your effort to prevent him from getting there, you never endorsed him. Do you have regrets about the way you ran your campaign?
Oh, no. There's two things that surprised me. One is I thought I was known. I mean, I was a big television star. You probably didn't know that.
You were I know.
Okay, I was also a chairman of the Budget Committee. I had high profile. I'm the governor of Ohio. I go to New Hampshire, and only 1 or 2% of the people knew who I was. That surprised me. Even though we finished second there and didn't get a bump, we did exceedingly well. Yeah. And where I spent time, we did well. The problem was I didn't have the name ID. The second thing is being governor of Ohio hurt me. Wow. Well, because I couldn't make wild promises. You see, when you get to be a leader, I have 11.5 million people I represent. You don't say crazy things because you know that you're responsible for what happens if you win. One of the things that's interesting is now we're beginning to see President Trump take some of the positions. I'll give you one example. On the debate stage, everybody said, what do you think about the Iran nuclear deal? I'll tear it up on the first day that I'm in office. I was the one that said, we can't say that. Have we torn it up?
No.
No?
No.
Have we deported 13 million, whatever it is, people that are in this country?
Right, that would
no.
Be no.
Okay? So, in other words,
for John Kasich in disguise, it sounds like.
Look, I'm a very happy guy. I want him to do well. It's like the pilot on a plane. I mean, you want the pilot to do well. And let me tell you another thing. I'm a really happy guy. And I wake up some mornings and I say, Lord, I'm glad you didn't let me be president because, life is short. You do the best you can, and you see what's in store for you, and you do the best you can, just plain and simple.
Well, Governor, before we let you go, I have to ask you that one more question, though. Even though you said, maybe it's a good thing that you didn't become president, another kick at the can in 2020, perhaps?
Unlikely.
Now that you've
very unlikely. Yeah. Look. I mean, somebody wanted to know if I would run for the United States Senate. I said they'd have to use armed guards to take me into the building. No, I have other things I want to do in my life, but I will not go quiet into the night. I'm going to be, obviously as vocal as I can, standing up for my kids' future.
We can tell.
Okay?
Governor, congratulations on the book.
Yes.
And
Hey, that's right. 2 paths. People need to go out and look at. Look, here's the only thing I say about the book for those that are watching. One, if you want to see a little insight on what it's like to be in a presidential campaign, it's in there. But if you want to see how we got to this place and how we get out of it, it's in there too. So,
and a great story about the governor facing down a moose.
there you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.